let's add a page. So in the Pages panel, we're going to simply click on the New button. And the New button is a square with a plus sign in the middle. Most of the panels have one. Let's go ahead and click on that New button, and it will add a page for us to the document. And in my case, it took me to that page as well. If you're still seeing page 1, just in your Pages panel, double click on page 2, and it should center right in your screen. Let's jump down a little bit. The type tool we're going to spend some time on. There's only 2 type tools in InDesign. There are 7 in Illustrator. There's not a whole lot. I think there's 1 in Photoshop. But basically, the regular type tool it looks like a little I-beam with a square around it. You click and drag to make a text frame, and then you put your text in it, whatever it might be. Okay, so you click and drag a text frame, and you put your text in it. We can do more than that, but that's what we're going to know for right now. We have a line tool. Line tool consists of 2 anchor points and a line segment that connects them. If you click and drag, you determine where that line is going to go. It does not matter how close together you put these lines. They are not connected in any way. No, I can use the regular one. They will not hold a color between them. They are just meant to be used as lines, straight lines or not. They're angled. There's no curving to this at all. What you can do is if you wanted to put rule lines between your columns of text, you can click and drag holding the Shift key to make a perfectly straight vertical line, or you could hold the Shift key and drag left to right and make a perfectly straight horizontal line. That is the purpose of the line tool. That is it. That's the only one we have. I'm going to do a super fast rendition of the pencil and pen tool. Pencil tool is a freehand tool where you click and drag, and then it draws a line with anchor points and line segments following your movements of the mouse. You can assign a stroke weight, a stroke color, stroke style to any of these lines. That's absolutely allowable, but it's a freehand way of drawing something custom. The pen tool is more controlled. It is not freehand whatsoever, and it is scary to a lot of people that are new to the Adobe products. But the pen tool is showing up in every program out there, so it's always a good idea to at least understand a little bit of how it works. So here's my 10-second or 30-second rendition of how to use the pen tool. If you want straight or angular lines, click, move your pen, click, move your pen, click, 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 click. Okay, I made an angular line. I'm going to deselect all, Command-Shift-A or Control-Shift-A. I've made some angular lines. Beautiful. If you come all the way around to the beginning, the open endpoint, it will put a circle next to the pen tool telling you I'm going to close this up. So it is a closed shape. A closed shape will hold a color inside of it. Okay, now I'm going to regret that, right? No, I hope not. All right, how do I get curved points? How do I get curves? Instead of just a click, move, and click, it's a click and drag in the direction you want the curve to go. Move away from that point, click and drag to finish the curve you started, and start another one. Click and drag, click and drag. What I tell everyone to do with their lines, with their pen tool lines, is draw the line, finish the line, come back with the direct selection tool. And then that way you can get access to those anchor points. You can reposition them. You could redirect the arms. You can make them more curvy. You can make them less curvy. So make them longer or shorter using the arms. You have access to those anchor points forever and ever and ever and ever. All right, so same thing here, or I can get the line segment and move it, or I can click and drag a marquee around it and move just the points that I selected. Just move around. So always come back with the direct selection tool to fix it up. But when you first start it, finish the line, then go back and edit it, then go back and fix it. And the last thing I'll show you about the pen tool is you can combine straight and curved by starting out straight and then wanting a curve. I want to curve the next part. Well, hold the Alt Option key. What that does is it turns the pen tool into the Convert Anchor Point tool, which looks like a little caret symbol. You click and drag on the same anchor point you last added. So I click and drag in the direction I want the curve to go. I can let go of the key, and then I click and drag to finish that curve. Say I want the curve to go up again. I want a little cusp here. I'm going to hold Alt Option to get the Convert tool. I'm going to click and drag up to redirect the arm. Let go of the key after you let go of the mouse, and then click and drag. All right. All right, couple more tools I want you to understand. We have a set of shape tools. The first is a rectangle that's just filled with a gray color. I'm going to hold my mouse button down on it to reveal the other shape tools that are here. Illustrator has a lot more, but these are taken from Illustrator. They're going to work the same way as Illustrator. You'll notice that there is also a rectangle with an X in the middle. We're going to talk about that in a minute, but it's different. It's not a shape tool. It's a graphic frame. So rectangle, regular rectangle, is considered an unassigned frame. And an unassigned frame holds color or gradient on the page or stroke on the page. To make a rectangle, you click on the upper left, drag and drop to the lower right. And you can make as many rectangles in any direction or any size you like as you're working. Let's say you want to make a perfect square. Then click and drag, but add the Shift key to constrain your movement. Makes a perfect square every time. Perfect square. It's constraining your proportions to be equal. If you click once on the artboard with the rectangle tool, you'll get a dialog box where you can type in exactly what you want. We'll click OK. All right. You can also draw from the center. Let's see if I make a perfect square. There is a center point there. If I hold Alt Option down, I still have the rectangle tool active. I can hover over that existing center point, click and drag out, add the Shift key as you're dragging to make another square that's smaller but aligned perfectly by the center point. Let go of the mouse before you let go of the keys. I'll do it one more time. Hold down Alt Option, get my crosshairs on that center point, click and drag and add the Shift key to keep it perfectly proportioned. Let go of the mouse before you let go of the key. Now all three squares are stacked on top of each other on that center point. Okay, I'm going to select all, so Command or Control S, or excuse me, Command or Control A to select all, and then delete or backspace. Okay, let's go back to that rectangle tool, hold our mouse button down, and choose the Ellipse tool. And the Ellipse tool works the same way. Click and drag, upper left to lower right. You can do it any way you want, but there has to be some sort of dragging to make it work. If you want a perfect circle, hold the Shift key as you drag. If you want to draw from the center, hold Option. Option and Shift will give you two. Draws from the center and gives you a perfect circle. And in my Illustrator class this week, we made the target logo. Just by doing that, drawing from the center and making perfect circles. You know, we don't want to imply any copyright infringement, but it's an easy one to make. Let's see, what else do I want from this? Oh, if you click once on the artboard, you get a dialog box where you can type in the exact size that you want something to be. And just because this says points doesn't mean I can't make it inches. I highlight the whole amount. I'll put in 1.5 IN in the height, and then it's going to do, let's do a 2 IN for the height. Okay, click OK. It converts to points, but it makes the thing the size that I wanted. So don't worry about if the units and increments is not correct for your task. You can still type in IN for inches or PT for points. I think picas are just P. Some printers use them. Not a lot of designers use them anymore. The picas, I mean. Okay. All right, we'll select all of that, delete. And the last one is the Polygon Tool. Polygon Tool has a couple of purposes. It does make a polygon for you. That did not work. Okay, I'm going to have to reset mine. It should be set on 6 sides, and it should come up like this. Click and drag. It can be disproportionate if you want. If you want it to be proportionate, hold Shift to make a perfect hexagon. But the default setting for the Polygon Tool is a hexagon, a 6-sided object. You can change that, of course. Let's see. If we hold Option, we still draw from the corner. Just wanted to see if it would do from the center, but it does not. That's okay. What if we want to make something different? We want some different sides. The arrow keys are not going to work for us in InDesign to add the sides like they do in Illustrator. What we can do instead is double click on the tool. Double click on the tool to get a dialog box, and then you can determine how many sides you want. I'm going to go for 10. Okay, I'm going to click OK, and then I'm going to click and drag, and I get 10 sides to my object. Let's double click on the Polygon Tool again. At the bottom, we have star inset. If it's at 0, it's a polygon. If it's got any percentage in there, let's go with 40%, it becomes a star. And it changes the object I had selected at the time. So everything you draw after that is going to be the same. So the star value is how far in do the points come. Let me double click. I'll make it even bigger. I'll do 80%. But I'm going to take the sides down to 5 so that I have more of a starfish. And it stays like that and stays like that. Okay, so how do you get it to be different? What if you want to make a triangle? I'm going to double click on that Polygon Tool. I'm going to take my sides down to 3. I'm going to take the star inset value down to 0 and click, and now I'm making a triangle. This is the best way to make a triangle in InDesign or Illustrator, for that matter. So Illustrator has a separate star tool, but InDesign has just the Polygon Tool with 2 options. It can be a polygon or it can be a star. You just have to put your settings in there, what you're looking for, and from that point on, it's going to stay the same. I'm going to set it back to hexagon just because. I did want to get to this one more tool, the rectangle frame tool. That's the graphic frame tool, and you'll see it also has an ellipse. It also has a polygon. We're just going to look at the rectangle version, but when we click and drag with the graphic frame, we get a frame that has no color fill and no color stroke, and it simply has an X in the middle. And its purpose is to accept a graphic. What we're going to find in InDesign is that everything has to go into a frame in order to exist on the page. So text goes into a text frame, graphics go into a graphic frame, colors go into an unassigned frame. So everything needs a frame. This is just marking the spot where the graphic is going to go. Once we choose File, Place, we are taken to a navigation window, and we're going to go look. I'll look on my desktop for Week 1 demo files. Mine's at the bottom here. And inside Week 1 demo files, I have practice images. And we'll just grab the dog digging image at the top. Click it, and then at the bottom, click Open. And it puts the dog image into the frame. You no longer need that X to tell the difference of what type of frame it is. You have a graphic in the frame, so you're ready to go. You can do all the same things as the shape tools, but these are meant to hold a graphic inside them. Okay, you cannot have color. No, that's wrong. You cannot have a graphic in the same frame as text. They require two different kinds of frames. But you can add color to a graphic frame and stroke to a graphic frame, and you can add stroke and color to a text frame, which is done quite a lot. All right, we're going